I just unmuted everyone, so you now have the ability to come on and off mute. If you don't mind just remuting yourself for the launch of the meeting, so we can just minimize the background noise. And hello.
Morning. Morning. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Hello. Hello.
Look at all these beautiful faces. Oh, I miss everyone. Hi. Oh, you guys. I knew I was gonna get emotional, and here I am. Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm so happy to see you all. I'm gonna cheese out here. I'm really excited to be joining you. Did you need to say before I got started? No, not at all. I'm happy to have everybody here. We are super excited to have Miss George as our co-host today to share some social emotional tips, and just gonna turn it over to her. I'm gonna try to be her tech guru. So Miss George, you just let me know when you need me to present. Awesome. So I'm going to apologize in advance for some reason. Sometimes my microphone and speaker like to turn off. So if you don't hear me randomly, it's because it has done that by itself and I haven't figured out why. I want to thank everybody who submitted their responses for this chat and chew. It's really important for me that you feel that I'm providing information that's really helpful. But something that I'm really hearing from everybody is the concerns for anxiety. It did it again. Okay. For just general strategies around self-care and mindfulness. And the beautiful thing about all of those things is that they're woven together very seamlessly. So I wanted to be able to give you all some mindful moments, some self-care moments that you can then use to share with your own families. Or anybody else really that you think could be beneficial. I did want to start by just a quick moment of gratitude. And if you see in the chat section, I have linked in a Google Doc that you all can either look at now or at various times Ms. Strong is going to present. So Ms. Strong, if you don't mind just putting that gratitude moment on. What we're going to do right now is there has been evidence that has shown that expression of gratitude has significant effects to combat negativity, to really put us in places, especially when we're stressed out. So I want to just say, do a moment where we're going to be starting with this moment of gratitude. It can really change our mindset over time. It is an activity that if you scroll down, if you scroll down a little bit, Ms. Strong, my friends in Boston, they do this with their kids every day. At the bottom of that page, they have this cool kind of neon board where they each post the things that they're grateful for every day. There it is. And so there's 4 of them in the family and they write it down. It really is a practice. It's something that once you get in the hang of it, you can see the benefits of, but it can be as simple as things like jalapenos and banana bread, and it can be bigger things like our being able to connect like this, even though we can't connect. If you in the chat could think about something or someone that you're grateful for, I put a little picture of my children looking out the window. I live in Stuyvesant Town, which is over on 14th Street, and every day at 7 o'clock, we do a cheer in New York City. I hope a lot of you are participating in it. My husband is on the front lines, and it's a personal thing, but also I am a New Yorker through and through, and celebrating our city and how amazing we are and ways that we can come together during tough times. I think about September 11th and things like that. We are stronger together as a city. We're also real tough, and we got a good attitude, which allows us to pull things through. But I'm grateful for the clap at 7 o'clock every day, and sharing that with my children. I think that they're going to have an appreciation for New York City, growing up here, and what this is bringing to them. Every day. So if you guys want to just put in the chat what you are grateful for, and then maybe what we can do is just have a couple of people, if you want to share, can share as well. So you can go ahead and write it in the chat. Does everyone know how to go in there? If you go at the bottom, there's a chat function. Okay. See, we have some technical difficulties. Okay. And it can be something as simple or something more expanded, but go ahead and write that in the chat. And you don't have to participate if you don't want to. It's all optional. Let's just take one more minute to write, and then if someone wants to share something specifically.
Shit every fucking day.
If the spirit's moving anyone and they want to share with the group something that they're grateful for, and just even how you feel when you think about things that you feel grateful for, go ahead and unmute yourself. It's a free forum, and go ahead. Any brave volunteers? I see a lot of family. And as a parent myself, I know that that is two-sided at times. We have brand new roles of being educators and parents.
Ms. George, I think your mic got muted.
There it goes. It's really challenging. And I think that a lot of this, the impact of this on my kids is something that I feel intensely if they, can't be around, and the things that I feel for our students. That really not having that social connection every day is probably developmentally their worst nightmare, and maybe being stuck at home could also be part of that. So really just sort of being where their feelings are. Okay, so we're gonna do one more thing. If you go into the doc, Ms. Strong, if you can just scroll down. I've given some coping and calming strategies, and I need to give credit to Ms. Rubio in the Boys Prep, who put a lot of this stuff together. But I wanted to make sure that you all had some strategies for yourselves, as well as things that you could do with your kids, either this age or younger. And so we're gonna do one of the activities, that 5-finger breathing, which we also learned as teachers when we did a self-care presentation. So everyone's gonna take their hand, okay? And you can choose to close your eyes or open your eyes. And I want to be really clear that sometimes when I do these kinds of mindfulness things with the students, closing your eyes might not be an option for them because it doesn't allow them to feel safe. And so it's really important that you're giving the option to open or close your eyes, just to make sure that we can have that safety. I'm going to close my eyes. Don't make faces at me while my eyes are closed. But what you're going to do is, for every time you go up your finger, you're going to take a slow, deep breath in. And every time you go down your finger, you're going to exhale. Okay, so I'm going to start with my thumb. We're going to inhale up your thumb. And exhale down your thumb. Inhale up your index finger and exhale down your index finger. Inhale up your middle finger. Exhale down your middle finger. Inhale up your ring finger. Exhale down your ring finger.
What's your email?
Inhale up your pinky. Exhale down your pinky. I'm sorry, my family is being loud. Inhale up your pinky. We're going to go back the other way now. Up your pinky. And exhale down your pinky. Inhale up your ring finger. Exhale down your ring finger. Inhale up your middle finger. Exhale down your middle finger. Inhale up your index finger. Exhale down your index finger. Inhale up your thumb. And exhale down your thumb. And once you finish, just put your hands down. Sorry. This is lifestyle. Just put your hands down and sit with a moment and just sort of feel how things have shifted in your minds and your bodies. So breathing is, when we feel trauma or we feel stressed, it impacts our nervous system. The impact of trauma, and we are all sharing a trauma right now, has been known to have this impact on our nervous system and even on brain development. So breathing can help self-regulate. When we send oxygen into our bodies, it can calm our nervous system down, which allows us to be able to handle stressors better, to bring some anxiety down and some of the stress down. Sorry, welcome to life right from home. That was Sadie. But these are just a couple of things that you can do. And again, if you're looking through, bye Sadie, if you're looking through the doc, whenever times of anxiety might come up, the idea of grounding activities, so listing 5 things you can see, anything around the room. Okay, I'm real sorry. Hold on one second. Okay, if any of you have been interrupted in meetings with work with your children, there you that is my life. Yeah, so I want to normalize that for you all. They came in right on time. But again, you know, we have our moments of anxiety. I do too. And I want to really stress the concept of we can't give from an empty cup. That is something that I am really working with as a social worker of this school, right? If I'm experiencing this myself, how can I make sure I'm doing those things for myself to be able to fill my cup so that I can give my cup to others? And even if it means taking a moment for yourself to breathe, to take a moment for yourself to express gratitude, to take a moment for yourself to take a walk, to close your door if you can. It's real hard as a parent to have a minute to yourself right now. And anything that you can do to be able to just fill that cup back up as much as possible can be really helpful. But also for our kids, if they're having maybe those ground activities that are in the stock. So if you can just scroll through quickly, I've given some real quick wins as far as those calming strategies. And you can see that, again, there's the object focus, that 5-finger breathing exercise we did. Be able to have those calming strategies. So different things that you can do. So just wanted to make sure you can see that. And then before we go to questions, I just want to go through the doc real quick, so you can see other things. There's some self-coach strategies about changing your thinking, some stuff for school if I feel sad or mad or unfocused. And I like these because sometimes if I'm sitting down to do my work, I can use some of these strategies myself. So again, everything I'm giving you here is not only for the kids, but also for yourself if you need to. So keep going down.
Mommy, that one doesn't have
That's fine. I don't need a computer.
Also, this one specifically was mentioned for ADHD, but again, sometimes trauma and things that are triggered for us can have some of the same sort of presentation as some mental health stuff like ADHD. So these can just be really helpful for feeling overwhelmed, chunking projects, giving ourselves reminders. I joke that like, I don't know what day it is. Like, is it Friday? It's just day because every day is the same. And I appreciate that Cuomo puts on his PowerPoint, like today is Friday, so that we remember. So putting things in our reminders, I set things on my checklist, my to-do list, on my phone, set myself alarms is really, really helpful. If you see below, there's the story of the oyster and the butterfly, which is a PDF about COVID. It's a beautiful story. So I like read alouds. I think they can be used at any age. Keep going, please. And then just some other tips that I put in there, some get moving things. Some of you had asked questions about like kids getting motivated and stuff. And so it might not be that breathing exercises are good for them, but these are so cute. And I think getting silly with your family and having those moments where you're together are just really what kids need, right? They need to know their support system is there. They need to know that you're going to be able, that maybe you're feeling stressed too, without putting the worry onto them, but just letting them know that their feelings are normal and any reaction they're having, but getting that energy out is a great way to do it. And then I added some grief and loss things. I did send an email about it, but I wanted to make sure to add that, as well as, you know, if you're really feeling that you need that mental health and support for yourself, or for others that you know, these are lines that the New York City has had. Like, I just, you know, as a mental health provider, how the city and how the state is handling this, and I even got a call, you know, for social workers to come and help support people on the front lines, like just understanding that mental health and wellness and the fact that they're acknowledging that these things are important at this time has been really important for me. So I want to make sure to open this up. Again, you have this link and I'll send it in an email to all the families so that they can see it. But I want really for this to be time for you all to ask questions. If I'll put it in the chat so that you can also email me questions. Please know that everything is confidential. So if you're having concerns specifically, or there's concerns that you have for family members or health or things like that, and you want to talk it through and get a referral, so if you want to, yes, I will send an email. I'm going to send it to all the families like I sent one today with this in it, and that way you can have it. So thank you for asking that question. So you can put questions if you want to take yourself off mute, or if you want to put it in the chat. I'd love for this to be ongoing. What I can do is I will send it as well as if I do to all the families. Yeah, sure.
Where are they coming from? Who are they?
So anything specific? I know someone had a question in the thing about family members who are at risk, and sort of having conversations about that. Was someone on that they wanted to talk a little bit more about that? So just in speaking to it, please know that if there's any family members that you have, or losses that you have, that we as a community are really understanding of all of that. And please reach out to either your point of contact or to me, just to make sure that we know that, I know that school comes first, but we also have to make sure we're taking care of ourselves and our families. And the reason why my job exists at school is that sometimes those things are hard and it impacts academics. And this is impacting everybody. So, I'll have days when I have a hard time sitting down and doing this work, and trying to be there for others when I'm, concerned for my own family and things like that. So knowing that, those things are happening and we're all sharing in this, like, we must rely on each other for it. So, all right, Jennifer has a shout out. Go ahead. I see in the chat there's a shout out. Can they come off mute themselves?
Everyone should be able to unmute themselves. It looks like it was Jennifer who was going on the shout out. And right now it seems like she's trying to connect to audio. I'm seeing a little connect to audio thing popping up here. So she might be here soon. Jennifer, you can also, if you can't connect to audio, you can type your shout out in the chat and we're happy to read that out loud for the group. Also, if questions aren't coming up for you, I think one thing that would be helpful on our end as a school is just if you want to surface or can surface things that you feel like your scholar or other scholars need right now that we could be providing in our morning advisory social emotional time or just in one-on-ones. So like if things are coming up that you feel like we could do a better job addressing in terms of supporting scholars that way, this is a great time to also give that feedback or let us know the things that you would like to see in the coming weeks.
Agree. And I know that there was an email from a parent, I think she's on here, just about allowing the girls to have a space to be able to, oh, wow. Yeah. Okay. Yes. And I believe you were the one that also were talking about the idea of having smaller groups for girls to be able to talk out this stuff. Yeah, I thought this was coming. This actually came a couple weeks ago, a little jumping the gun, right, Mr. Hogg and Ms. Lopez? We had a conversation about it. It's a real tough one. It's really hard. Ms. Lopez and Ms. McCall and I met the other day to talk about celebrations and sort of what are things going to look like if we don't go back to school. And I know, Ms. Lopez, maybe you can speak a little bit today to College Knowledge. We really want to elicit things from the girls. I find that they always have some of the best things, but again, and I've really grown to detest the word unprecedented, but it is really accurate and maybe we can find some synonyms for it. But as this is unprecedented and we don't have a template for what this all looks like, eliciting things from the girls, I think, is really important. We want to celebrate them, and we know that, I've talked to some 8th graders just about how crushing it is, right? That if they're leaving, and how can we make sure we're saying goodbye and having those moments to celebrate each other. So know that that's in the works, but if you all have any ideas, again, this is something that we're all sort of creating a template for. And so anything that we can sort of figure out that can feel meaningful and, can be as widespread as possible for everybody, please share that.
Yeah, we had a conversation with 8th graders this morning that joined College Knowledge, and I really opened the forum for them to talk about what would be some ideas for maybe not graduation, right? Because graduation can have an agenda and there are speakers, and that is that's more feasible on Zoom, and it's easier, right? In the world of uneasy things. But for prom, thinking about students who are already uncomfortable with like spotlight, or a student who may not have their dress yet or pants yet or suit yet, thinking about ways to have a moment where we can all have some fun. And I let students be very transparent, right? Some of them were like, I'd rather be asleep, which is valid. And I told them, like, I myself am never in the middle of the dance floor, but I want to be able to set aside some time for us to do something as a group, whether it's a watch party, whether we're all like playing games. They came up with the idea of like having a green screen. Some YouTuber did, and like they actually went to prom, but they had like a green screen, which then we were like, oh, on Zoom you can change your background, so if we all have the same background, then we'll be in the same place. So we thought that'd be one, it's a step right in the right direction. And a lot of them are actually like, can we meet in the summer? So thinking about no to prom right now, but once we get like the city expectations of like group gatherings, what's the size, what's the expectation, what's the time limits and frames, then I think we can move forward. And I'm absolutely dedicated to doing something in the summer. We could do something on my birthday. Like, as long as they have a good time. So as long as parents are okay with it and we get the appropriate measures around, right? I think this social distancing is going to impact us in the long term. I don't think the 6 foot measurement is going to go away very soon, although we can be forgetful sometimes. Once we get like the city parameters on what the expectation is as like a civilian moving around, then I'm totally open to doing something with them. May not be May or June, but July, August, something before they go to school, and leave us officially.
Agreed. And I know it's not a solution for this year, but I think even in terms of thinking about next year's graduation and how do we have a special, shout out a special feature for the girls this year who aren't going to have the same, their end of year celebrations aren't going to look the same. So clearly the governor's got great timing. We've all been waiting for this announcement, but the middle of our chat and chew, I'm going to give him a call after and tell him I'd appreciate him not interrupting our social emotional moment. But we will 100% be thinking about what's the soonest that we can get the girls back together, even if it's a back to school kind of celebration to allow them some closure. Because we know that that's a big deal. Some of these girls have been together since kindergarten, first grade, even if they've only been together since 5th grade, right? It's a big transition and we want to do our best to be able to support that in every way that we can. So families, we've got about 3 more minutes before we have to hop off. So we just want to keep the floor open if there are any other specific questions or concerns that you want to share.
Ms. Strong, question. I wasn't on the last chat and chew on Wednesday, but I heard that they're giving a test to 6th graders go to the 7th grade. I'm not sure if that's correct or not. I didn't think so. I just thought I'd ask because it wasn't clear and I was trying to figure that out.
Now, great point of clarification. So what we did talk about was that we as a school are trying to figure out what do assessments look like while we're remote. And what is a really big priority for us is figuring out where our kids are at the end of the year so that we can plan for next year, right? Because we're offering as much remote learning and support as possible, but we want to be realistic that there are going to be some gaps. It's not as easy for kids to, understand some of these concepts remotely. And so we are trying right now to think about what do assessments look like in remote learning, but only right now on the basis of helping us plan to support them, not on the basis of like, you pass or fail this test, promotion not being tied to it, it being our way as educators of gauging what's working in remote learning, right? Because we need to know even now, what are kids getting and how do we fix that? And then what we really want to make sure is that as we go into summer planning, we have some sort of an assessment in place that just gauges where kids are to inform our planning. Not at all in a pass-fail sense, more just in progress monitoring for us and helping us plan for next year.
Thank you.
No problem.
Something I just want to add to that I find that we all do because we want to help is the idea of like when kids express tough feelings and when they have tough feelings about school closure and things like that, to really hear it out, to make sure, and I've said this in parent workshops before, sometimes kids pause and we jump in because we want to be able to respond to them because we want to help them, but allowing for that pause and allowing to hear if they have more to say, but also just being, if they're expressing feelings, it's my worst nightmare when my kids have tough times and they're having strong feelings, but at the same time, sometimes it's just about saying like, I'm here for you, right? Or that sounds really hard, or that sounds really tough, instead of trying to fix it all the time, because at the end of the day, we can't fix this right now. You know, what we can do is try to be there to support one another. And so when my 4-year-old is having a moment and she misses school and it's not school, right? And being there with her and trying to tolerate her feelings myself, and also just allowing for that space to have those feelings, I think is really important. So it's hard news. It's hard news. I feel like I cried about school closure when the de Blasio announced it, but I was kind of expecting it. But, you know, when this stuff really comes down and it makes it real, it's really hard. So sometimes we just need to sit with that, and that is uncomfortable. But they say from discomfort comes our growth, and boy, are we going to grow from this. We sure are.
Yeah, amen to that. We're going to grow from it. We're going to learn. We're going to come back stronger than we were. We're going to have plans. You know, I'll say one thing it's taught us is how important incorporating technology is into our learning, even while we're in the building, so that kids have the tools they need to be successful. So we will take everything that this experience gives us, and we will you know, walk away with some new perspectives, and we'll walk away together and into the next phase of it together. So, you know, even if you're an 8th grade family, our commitment doesn't end at 8th grade. You know, I see Miss Cologne on here. We'll stalk your children, even in high school. Tell Sabrina I said hi. Our commitment doesn't end there. 2 and through college is right. Miss Brooks will be stalking them for alumni stuff. So our network is always going to still be here to support along the way. They make that transition. So we appreciate you all. It was great to see you. I'm going to post this recording on Facebook, and we'll send it out via YouTube as well. And if you have any other specific questions that come up, please don't hesitate to reach out. We'll be back together on Monday for a Facebook Live, chat and chew in the middle of the day. I'll shoot out an email to parents, just a reminder of the times for next week. So we'll have 3 live times again, either through Facebook or through Zoom, for you to get updates and to ask questions. So please tell your scholars that we miss them and we love them, and that we are looking forward to seeing them virtually and in the real world, because we are going to see them again. So have a great day, everyone. Thank you for coming.